before? Woo! Okay. About half and half. So half of you have and half of you haven't. You guys are in for a really great treat. Plus, she's going to do like a new part that I've never even heard before, so I'm excited. So I kind of heard from some Colorado people that they grooved on that part. So if you were in the market party, you kind of know this. I was actually introduced to Nerium by Sarah. Sarah lives in the Seattle area. We were in another company together before. And I'm not going to steal her thunder or her story because I want her to tell all of it, and I want her up here out of breath and dying at the end of it. But I know she feeds off your energy. We all do that when we're up here, and it's a long period of time for them to be up here and giving giving you guys their best. So I'm super excited to introduce Sarah Nilsen, 2-star National Marketing Director, and you're going to get the best darn training, best training ever.
All right, guys, we're going to do a little experiment today. Hopefully you still think that at the end. I'm going to mix up the slides a little bit and add some different stuff. So, yeah, that's what's happening. So hopefully it works out the way that I usually did last night when I decided to do that. So, first of all, because I can see your hand, how many of you guys have never seen me before? Oh, it's not because that better be because you just started, not because you didn't show up last time I was here. Okay. Well, cool. I'm excited to hopefully get an opportunity to meet all of you guys after this. I'm going to kind of weave my story into the presentation a little bit, so I'm not going to start with that today. We're going to kind of, like I said, mix things up. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I realize that it's Saturday, it's beautiful outside, there's lots of other things that you guys could be doing, so I don't take for granted that you showed up to hear me today, but also showed up to make an investment in your business. And my goal is that at the end of this you find value, that you took some good notes, and that you have 1 or 2 nuggets that you can take back to your business and implement right away and hopefully get some great results. So, I'm going to do my part. Now you guys have to do your part too, which means that you have to be paying attention, taking good notes, and then take what you like and actually put it into action. Otherwise, we just wasted all of our time. Right? Okay, so let's make a pact not to do that. Okay? So let's just start with. Oh wait, I got the clicker. Right. First, qualities of a brand partner. Is anybody that's brand new, like first regional, just signed up in the last 30 days? Okay, good. Okay, well, welcome. Good for you guys. Qualities of a brand partner. What I love most about this, and one of the reasons that I think we're so successful, is because the qualities that we're looking for in a brand partner don't take any amount of skill. It's just all will, right? To have a desire to be coachable and be willing to work, that's on you, isn't it? And how cool is that? That means that you can be successful in this company without knowing anything about skincare, without knowing anything about direct marketing, without having a ton of time knowing all the right people or being a quote-unquote salesperson. You can come in and plug into a system that works and be successful. Not a lot of industries like that, and certainly not a lot of companies like that within our industry. Okay, so what that means to me is that you gotta want it. If I ask you guys, how many of you guys want to make $100,000 next year in your business? How many of you raise your hand? Okay, now, keep your hands up if you are willing to do what it takes to make $100,000. You guys. Okay, great. I'm holding you to it then. Okay? Because what happens is we all want what we want, but when it comes time to do the work, we're not willing to do it anymore. When it means I have to miss a soccer game, when it means that I have to say no to something that I want to do, when it means that I have to invest in myself, when I have to go to that training, when I have to sit on that webinar, all of a sudden, I don't want to do that. And first of all, I've made some progress since last time I was here. How long has it been? 6 months? Okay. Those of you who know me know that most of my analogies are about food. Well, I'm happy to say that now my analogies are going to be about working out. That's obvious to me. And I swear to God, you guys, how many of you guys remember my story last time where I talked about picking the weights? I talked about my green weights by my bed, my arm weights and stuff, right? Yeah. I promise you, I started working out with a trainer in October, and in my brain I was like, I'm going back to Kansas, and I can't be like still kicking the weights. Seriously, you guys are my inspiration, guys, I swear. So now my analogies are we're going to talk less about cookies and more about weights. Okay.
We got amendments.
some damn mints. Okay, smart. Right. So it's the same thing with working out, right? Most of us would say, I like to be physically fit, I like to be in shape, I like to be healthy, I like to be cardiovascularly fit, whatever. But we got to do the work, right? We got to actually show up to the gym, and not just show up, but we actually have to pick up the weights. We actually have to get on the cardio. We have to do this well-rounded thing. How many of you guys will go to the gym and you're like all about cardio, but you never do weights? Or maybe you're all about weights, but you never do cardio. You're not going to have that well-rounded fitness unless you take all the pieces of what it takes and do them together consistently. Same thing with our business. Some of you guys are like, oh, I'm great at exposures. I expose people all the time. But you never follow up. Or you come to the meetings all the time. You're at every market party, you're at every regional, you're on every call, but you're never out prospecting with bottles. Do you see the same thing? And then we get frustrated when we don't get results. Have you guys ever seen that show, Fit to Fat Fit? Anybody seen that? So cool, right? So what it is it's a story of a physical fitness instructor, a trainer, whatever. They get the client, and the client's, overweight, needs to lose 50, 70, 100 pounds. So the trainer puts on 50, 70 to 100 pounds, and then they lose it together. It's really cool. Yeah, right? Dedication? Yeah, I'd say. But the coolest part about when I was watching that show that I realized is that even the trainer, when he was trying to gain the weight, was getting frustrated that he wasn't. Because in the beginning, his metabolism's still working for him, right? He's eating all this food, and he's like starting to feel sick. He's like, I can't believe I ate all that. He's trying to, eat like 7,000 calories. And then he's getting on the scale. First week is good. He gains like 10, 15 pounds. Second week, he gains like 3 pounds. The next week, he gains like 3 pounds. And he's getting really frustrated because he's trying to gain like 50 pounds in 4 months. And he's like, this doesn't work. Like, eating all these calories, I'm not going to gain any weight. Right? Which is the same mentality that we have the other way. When we do something like we're trying to lose weight, and we're working out, we're eating right, we get on the scale, and we only lost a few pounds. We eat right, we work out, we get on the scale, we only lose a few pounds, and we get frustrated, and we say, what? This doesn't work. This whole calories in, calories out is BS. It's an interesting mindset. It goes both ways, and it's the same thing in our business. I'm showing up at every market party, I'm calling people all the time, I'm marketing with my bottles, and nobody's signing up. This doesn't work. Well, guess what? Yes, it does. You got to stay the course. Sometimes it takes longer because when you go grow a garden, you throw some seeds down. You don't come back and collect the cucumbers the next day. Right? It takes a while. So I just want you to challenge yourself in your mindset as we go through this today to really remember that this all works. I'm not making this stuff up. Some of it I might just... But you have to stay the course. And if you're not, check yourself. If you're not, check yourself. Because it works if you work it. Okay? All right, so the qualities of a brand partner is all about you. So good news, you're here. You got to have the desire, and if you're willing to stay the course and do the work, there's no way for you to fail. Don't ever let yourself forget that. Even on those days you feel like you are. Even on those days you feel like you're not where you want to be. Even though your best friend signed up the same day you do, and they're, driving a Lexus, and you can't even get a free bottle. It works if you work it, okay? Oh, I'm changing the slides on the iPad. So we'll get it. Leveraged income. One of the biggest reasons that we're in this industry versus working at a real job, a 9-to-5 job, is that leveraged income. Right? You only have an hour a day to throw at this, let's say. If you're busy, you've got other things going on. Some of you that are full-time are getting a little bit more. But let's just say the majority of us have an hour that we'll give it. Give it every day. Right? That's 5 hours a week that we're going to be able to reap the rewards of our efforts. But if we find a couple friends, and they all have an hour a day, right? They're at Bunko, they're roller derbying. What? Is that a thing? Is roller derby a thing? Yeah. Is it happening here? Yeah. Okay. Like you're probably kind of badass to do that, right?
Right, yeah.
We're Bunkoing. We're doing whatever we do in Kansas. I would so be wearing my cowboy boots if I didn't wear these leather pants today. That was too much. So they have their 5 hours a week too. So now you're getting benefit off 25 hours and so on, right? So you can get paid essentially on 155 hours of work even though you only put in 5. Stand up and tell me if there's another industry that you can do that. No. So that's why we're here. Right? That's why this is the beauty of this, because this allows you to free up to do other things that are important to you. It allows you to show people that there's another way. You guys, I grew up with my mom working in a cubicle. Anybody have a cubicle parent? Okay. So every morning I can remember sitting on her bed, watching her get ready to go to work. And she used to get those Lakes pantyhose and an egg. To this day, I'll never wear this business. But I remember sitting on the bed watching her in awe as she was like maneuvering herself into these pantyhose, like suntan, full on. You guys know, right? Okay, back in the 70s, just full on suntan hose, putting on her band roll on. I mean, this is thing you remember. And her wine with everything, red one lipstick, and going to work. And it was all about, is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? Oh shoot, it's almost Monday. Oh shoot, it's almost Monday. She hated every minute of it. And I remember thinking as a child, like, why are you doing this? Well, why was she doing this? Because that was it. That was her option. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to be a cubicle kid. I'm not going to grow up in a cubicle. I don't know what I want to do, but it's not going to consist of a cubicle. And she lived for her 2 weeks vacation. So this is an opportunity for you and for people that you know to have another option. To have a better way. And how many of you guys have been trying to sell your family on the whole concept of a staycation? Like, hey, the staycation doesn't do what, guys? All the rage. We're just going to take a couple weeks off work, but we're just going to stay home, with the hose out in the backyard. Well, good. Right? Because money's tight. The economy's tight. So what if you did something like this so you didn't have to have a staycation? What would that mean to you? What would that mean to your family? What would that mean to your friends that are in the same situation? Think about those kinds of things, okay? So, that being said, oh wait, there's my iPad again. Okay, hold on. I'm going to skip I'm not. I'm going to be right here. I'm just doing that for fun now, I know. Okay. So it really starts with your why. Like, why are you in this business? This is probably the most important part of what I'm going to say today. You have to be grounded in something that matters to you. Because guess what? Some of this really blows. Let's be honest. Right? Some of this is not fun. How many of you guys like to feel rejected? Nobody? Oh, weird. Why are you in this business then? Right? Some of us we take that personally. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. But there are a lot of things that we do that aren't so glamorous. You might think, I would like to be Mick Jagger, or I'd like to be Oprah. Wow, that's so cool. They're up on stage, they're living their dream, they're a rock star, they're, all the time, or Oprah, she gets to go, I like the car, or whatever, she gets to do all the fun stuff all the time and travel, and everybody loves her, and, everybody listens to everything she says. But that's about 5% of Oprah. The rest of it, you don't see. When she has to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and sit in a makeup chair and get her wig done all the time, and the makeup, and all the legal stuff that she has to go through all the time, and all the stuff that you don't get to see. And that's the same thing with our business. When you're up there getting your $50,000 check, it's like, everything's great, or getting accolades for this or that, or at conference, and everything's so fun. That's about 5% of what we do. The rest of it sometimes isn't so fun, because it takes work, and there's other things that you'd rather be doing. So when I always tell people when they come into this business is, remember, this is the roller coaster, right? I talked about this last time I was here, didn't I? The roller coaster, right? When you go to the amusement park and you see the roller coaster, you're standing in line, you're looking at what's going on. You can see clearly, right? You see the ups and downs. Some people are freaking out. They're so excited they can't wait to get on the roller coaster. They're like, yes, I live for this. It's adrenaline. It's so awesome. And some people are like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not getting on that. Right? I'd be one of those. I'm like throwing up just looking at it. Okay? But if you give your ticket and you decide to get on, you know what you're in for, right? You know that there's going to be ups and downs. You know that there's going to be times that are super fun and full of adrenaline and big rush, and then there's going to be times when you're coming down and you're like questioning everything. And what that looks like is, sometimes you're going up and you're like, I can't believe this is my life. And then you're like, I can't believe this is my life. Right? But you know what you're in for. And that's the important key. If you know that there's going to be good and there's going to be not so good, then you can take it better, can't you? It's not all glamorous. It's not all every day is great. And I really wanted, especially in the new people, because I really feel like if you internalize that in the beginning, you're going to have much better time with us. Because on the days when you don't feel so good, you're like, oh yeah, that blonde, that one, the leather pants. Yeah, she said that there's going to be days like this. Right? All right. So figure out what matters to you. Is there anybody in this room that's brave enough to stand up and tell us all why you're in this business? Like, what, at a gut level, what brought you here and keeps you here? Why are you doing this? If nobody has a why, I'm scratching the rest of the strength and we're all going to talk about why. Seriously, anybody that has some, why are you doing this? Why are you here? Yeah, thank you.
I have a why,
Okay.
and it's changed continually. And I almost have given up. But yesterday, I got a call from Sherry. And anyway, she just touched. She just made a call, and she called, and I don't know if she was calling to see what was going on or not, but I put my ADO on back order, and I shut off my back office, and I'm relying on a survivor's benefit. And it's under $676 a month. And I'm looking at applying for food stamps, and I'm looking at applying for government assistance, and I refuse to do that. Because, damn it, I know I can do better. I can't go and ask someone to help me when I can still help myself. And as long as I am working this, I am helping myself. And yesterday, when I sat down and I paid my bills for March, I pick up dog poop for other people, I walk people's dogs, I sew crafts, I work my Nerium, I do all kinds of things, and I pay every one of my stinking bills for March. And that's why. Yesterday or last month, when I first started, my why was why not? Because I was working a job. And I had a pretty smart-ass attitude about it. And sure, why not? You know? And then I quit my job, and I still was pretty smug because I thought, no problem. I can do this. And then things started changing in my life, and I decided to go, maybe I need to look for a part-time job, and no one wants to hire me. And I suck at the applications online. And sometimes, recently I've sucked at coming and looking at all of you people in the face because I felt like I was walking a lie. And I know I'm not, because that was just an ugly lie that was poking at me. But I denied that lie. And I may never reach the 100,000 mark, and it's okay. Because every day, I'm worth $1 million.
What's your name? Geneva? There's nobody in this room, Geneva, that doesn't believe you. And that's so powerful. And when you stand up and you speak like that with conviction, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to have something that is every fiber of your being, you believe in, and you're willing to work for. So congratulations, and thank you for inspiring everybody here. Just like a 3 or 4 minute video for you guys.
How do I know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in We're in Winston-Salem. So break time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour, hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just going to show you the clip. Check it. So you're a musical director?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That rock is sing. What you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick. You know what I'm saying. Let's see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
So here's the thing. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose. It's called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? But the key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why...
Okay. Pretty good, right? Yeah. That's my challenge for you. When we ask you why you're in this business, it has to be something that matters to you so that you change the way you do your business. Because you feel like your business is a lifeline to that, to something that's important to you. I'm going to share with you my why. Some of you guys know when I first started, I had to quit my other job to do this. So my why was my mortgage. Let's just be clear. Okay. But before that, my why to get into this business. Have I ever told the board member the story at this meeting? Okay. This is the hard part about coming back to a market. I don't want to say the same things I always say, but here's why I got into this business. Okay, so I was valedictorian of my high school class, and you should clap for that. It's cool, guys. The other 8 people didn't even graduate. So I was valedictorian in my high school, and I lived in a big high school, but a small town. There was only one school. And when I graduated, I was going to the University of Washington, and I was either going to be a whale trainer or a news anchor. You can imagine which one my parents were rooting for, okay? But what happened was I ended up at the University of Washington for about 7 minutes. True story. Not even one full class. I was like, I am out of here, right? Because, for lots of reasons. I did really well in school, but I didn't really like school. Like, it was more of a social thing for me. I just happened to be smart. so I did well, but it wasn't because I applied myself so much. Does that make sense? Okay. So, I said, I'm going to go work for Nordstrom, and, I'm going to be, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a career at Nordstrom. And then I did. I left, went to work at Nordstrom, did really well there for a long time. fast forward, have kids. Now I am the assistant to the director of marine facilities for the Port of Bremerton, which sounds kind of like a fancy title, right? But really, I was a gas station attendant. I had to wear like the full like men's pants that they like laundered for you with like the Gomer Pyle like Sarah on the embroidered. Okay, guys, embroidered here. And my job was that when people come into I worked at the marina, the Port of Bremerton owned marina. I worked at the marina, and when people come in their bay liners, I had to like prance down the big little gate and go fill up their boats because apparently you can't gas your own boat. Rain or shine, here comes Sarah, right? And since I'm in the same town, it's like 10 years later. Or maybe not quite 10 years later, but I'm not feeling the best about my situation when my friends would come in their boat, and here comes the valedictorian to give me some fuel, right? They come in and be like, Sarah? I'm like, no. Right? It wasn't my finest moment. Well, when there was nobody getting gas, I got to clean the toilets at the public bathroom. Yeah, and there was nobody doing that, I pretty much just sat there. Okay? So, somebody had told me after 6 months, my boss, his name was Mr. Baker, he'd say, when you're here for a year, because technically it was a government job, after a year you're going to get $1 raise. So I was going to be making $9 an hour, y'all, after a year, right? So I'm like planning my like vacation to Mexico. I'm going to be in the chips, right? 1 year comes, my paycheck comes, I get my check, and I didn't get my $1 raise. And I remember going into Mr. Baker's office, and have any of you guys ever seen Office Space? You know the stapler dude? That was me. I was like, speaking, but I don't see clearly. Someone needs to get fired because nobody gave me money. So I walk in there, I got my paycheck, and I'm like, Mr. Baker, hey, I just had my 1 year anniversary, and I know that I was supposed to get $1 raise, and there's a mistake, there's missing a zero here, or something's wrong. And he looked me dead in the eye, and he said, I never said you were going to get a raise. That was my reaction. I was like, you mean to tell me I've been scrubbing toilets for 6 extra months because I wanted my $9, and I've got plans for that dough, and I'm not getting it. And I'll never forget it, you guys. I turned around, I walked out of his office, I sort of, and I thought to myself, I am never going to find myself in a situation where I let somebody else tell me what I'm worth ever again. So to me, being in this business for 3.5 years and doing pretty well, I've got the money monkey off my back. I can pretty much do what I want when I want. But my why is so that every single person in this room, every single person that I come in contact with, gets to feel that too. I don't want anyone to be in a situation that they're not comfortable in because they don't think that there's an alternative. And that's why I do this business. And it means something to me. There's nothing better than finding someone who's on the top ramen diet and be able to get them on the filet mignon diet. Right? There's nothing better than having somebody say, I don't know how I'm going to make my car payment, and get them in a free Lexus. That's why I do what I do. So you need to figure out why you do what you do. It's something that has to matter to you at a gut level. And typically, here's a little tip, it's arrows out. It's how am I going to help someone else get what they want? Because you know what? When you help enough people get what you want, what they want, you get what you want too. All right. So that being said, I'm going to flip through to talk amongst yourselves for a second. We're going to start with recruiting. Maybe? Oh, yep, here we go. All this good stuff we're not talking about. I'll say more than that. All right, so let's start with recruiting. Belief, posture, passion, and activity. And if you're taking notes, write these things down because we're going to talk about each one of them. I think belief is the most important. You really have to believe in what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, who you're doing it with. It's not just, yeah, I think the product works. It has to go deeper than that, right? Because it's not just about the product. It's about the whole culture of who we are, right? And Amy, are you willing to talk about it? Are you willing to share it? Right? Your beliefs are so important because they dictate all of your actions. It dictates how much excitement you can talk to people about it, or talk to people about it. Let me, do you believe that if somebody uses our product, they're going to like the benefits? Like, really? Do you really? Do you believe that if somebody invests $500 for a business kit, that they can parlay that into something that's life-changing? Do you really believe that? Even if you're not. What if you're not? What if you invested your $500 and you can't even get a customer? Do you still believe that it can happen? Do you believe that it does happen? Or it will happen? That's where you have to be. Before you ever have the audacity to go talk to somebody about something like this, you have to believe in your gut that it's going to work, that it's going to benefit. Right? Posture. Your posture about recruiting is always arrows out. It's always what's it going to do for them. It's never about you. If it's about you, you're going to be a horrible recruiter. If it's about you getting an iPad, if it's about you getting your bonus, if it's about you paying your mortgage, if it's about you getting recognition, it's setting up for disaster. It always has to be about the person that you're talking to. And that being said, you don't need them, they need you. You don't need them. I don't care who it is. I don't care. You guys, y'all know that person. Oh my gosh, if I could just get that one person on my team. Or Sarah, you don't understand. They know everybody. They're so good. They built a huge business into XYZ company. They're going to be amazing. Can you just get on a freeway with them? Because I know if I can get them, I'm going to be an NNP in no time. No. Your success is never on someone else's shoulders. It's on yours. It's never about you. It's always about who you're recruiting and how you can support them in their own goals. Not everybody wants to come in and make $100,000, you guys. Some people just want to pay the car payment. Some people just want to pay the babysitter. Some people just want to be able to buy shoes without being guilty about it. And that's okay. Your job is not to try to convince them that they need to go up here. Your job isn't to take a walker and turn them into a runner. Your job is to support the walker on the walk. Right? The way I like to look at it is I want everybody to feel good about where they are, but have the desire to be better. And if you can create that culture in your team, like we love you right where you're at, but we want to help you get to the next level if you want to go. We're going to lock arms with you and help you be better. But it's always arrows out. Do you see the difference between arrows out and arrows in? If it's about you, it's a disaster. You're setting yourself up to implode. Okay? Passion. How excited can you get about it? Do you need it? Who needs Nerium? Like, really, who needs it? Do we need it? I mean, no, really. Do we need it? Yeah. Why? Somebody tell me why we need Nerium. I want to ask you about all the products. Somebody stand up and tell me why do you need the Nerium night cream?
It makes you feel better.
With somebody? Thank you.
Yes, at age 74, I don't really like being 74, so I enjoy looking younger. And I think for the money, there is nothing on the market that I've ever tried. I used Dr. Farrakhan and 3-Lac for about 15 years, and it never removed one wrinkle off my face that Nerium has.
Awesome. You guys realize that it's not really about selling the cream, it's about selling confidence. What does the cream do for you? There's a gal on our team, Donna Hale, some of you might know her from Facebook. She's a dental hygienist. She had really bad acne scars. And she was devastated by it because as a hygienist, she said, you know, she's always this far from somebody's face and she felt like all they were doing was staring at her acne. So she literally wouldn't have a conversation with somebody without her mask on, right? You know, normally the hygienist would take her mask off and chat to you, whatever. No, she always had her mask on. She decided to try the night cream, you know, to help with that. It made a huge impact on her. I mean, her life, she cries every time she tells a story because she got her confidence back. She was able to take the mask off and talk to her patients. It's a big deal for her. Of course, she becomes a brand partner, right? She becomes a brand partner. She tells her story. She gets a lot of customers. People are gravitate towards her. She builds a team. She gets her Lexus. She's really excited. She's got a new car. And she has little kids, like a couple of little tiny ones. Everything's good. She gets diagnosed with breast cancer. She can't work. She's sick. She's in chemo. She had to have a double mastectomy. And guess what? What she created from that bottle of night cream paid for bills when she wasn't working, so they didn't have to, sell their house and leverage everything that they had to get her through that treatment. Do you think she's grateful? Do you think she needed that bottle? Was it more than just a night cream? Sure. There's lots of stories like that. Each one of you in this room probably has a story like that. That's what we're offering people. It's not just about vanity, or it's not just about getting rid of your wrinkle, or it's not just about, that cellulite. It's about the whole package of what we do, and you have to be passionate about that. One of the things I say about EHT that I said at the market party that I heard from Jeff Olson was that if you're not emotionally invested in that EHT, you haven't done your research. And that's really how I feel. Every story that I get from people that are using EHT, it blows my mind. And I'm thinking, it's like my mission. Everybody needs to be on that EHT, right? My ex-husband has a motorcycle crash. Motocross. And recently a kid was riding around, high school kid, got in a really bad accident. Airlifted to the hospital, 13 surgeries, swelling of the brain, broken bones, the whole thing. Couldn't go to school. Recovery process, he was under the care of a neurologist. At one point they didn't know if he'd ever walk again. They didn't know the extent of his brain damage. He got to a point he was very lucky where he was healthy enough to go to school, but he couldn't sleep, he couldn't focus, he couldn't study, he was failing everything. Very frustrating. And we gave him some EHT. I don't know if this is going to work, but I don't think it's going to hurt. Let's try it. And I just got a testimonial back from his dad recently, blown away. He's in school, he's passing his classes, he can sleep, he feels good, he's got his confidence back, he's doing really well, and making full recovery. And you get passionate about helping people. Because that's really what we do. And if you have to, I guess I'm spending a lot of time on this, you guys, because I really want you to internalize this. What's your story? What's your contribution? How are you going to show up in this business that's going to be most impactful with the tools you have? If you can get excited about that and about helping people, there's no way for you to fail. And then lastly, activity. If you act like you have a golden ticket, let's just say that every little business kit, every brand partner number is a golden ticket. What are you doing with those? Are you sharing them like that? If you knew you had the winning lottery ticket, who would you give it to? Would there be anything that would hold you back? Probably not. Right? If you knew this was worth $50,000 to your friend, family, acquaintance, whoever, who would you give it to? And would there be any part of you that would have reservation about giving it away? That's the posture that we're looking for. When you go out and recruit, that's where your head needs to be. That's how you have to have that fire in your belly. That's how you have to feel about who you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you're doing it with. It's got to be a lot more than just want to buy a steak. I just buy a steak. I must be on a little protein deficiency because I'm talking about steak. Okay? All right. So recruiting is all about sorting. It's kind of like this wide net. You should never find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're trying to convince somebody to do something. Because if you are, then you're going to have to convince them the whole way. You're going to have to convince them to get up in the morning. You're going to have to convince them to show up to the call. You're going to have to convince them to come to regional. You're going to have to convince them about St. Louis. You're going to have to convince them the whole way around. And you don't have time for that. So there's people that need you, right? And that's draining because you're the one that's banging your head against the wall, right? You're the one that's frustrated because you see it and they don't see it. And you spend all your time focused on this one person thinking, if I could just get them to see it. We all have that person. I do. You guys have that person? Like, if I could just get this one person on board. Like, they need it so much, or they would be so good at it. Right? But what if you switched your recruiting philosophy to hey, you guys come at me, and I'm going to kind of sort through the ones that I want to work with. I'm going to sort through the ones that have the same passion that I do. I'm going to sort through the ones that are going to give me energy and bring value to my team. You don't have to convince anybody to do anything. We're not selling Kirby's, you guys. Truly, you don't have to convince them. And guess what? If they don't want to do it, Who cares? There's plenty of people that do. You know, speaking about Inc. 500 list, you guys know that we beat like Fitbit, right? On that list. Everybody knows what a Fitbit is. I mean, you rarely run into someone who's never heard of Fitbit. But yet, how many people do you run into that have never heard of Nerium? Mostly everybody, right? If you're not in your little Nerium bubble, then you haven't heard of Nerium. Isn't that crazy to you? Does that just spark a little bit of what this opportunity that you have? So you don't have to waste your time convincing anybody. Go out and find the people who are coming back at you, the people that are showing up, the people who are giving you the opportunity to tell them more, the people that are excited about what you're saying. And that's your posture. Okay? I've never seen this slide unless I can give one in it. Yeah, I don't like it. Okay. I'm sure I'm going to say whatever that said, okay? So exposure is everything. Okay. How many of you guys love exposing people?
Love what?
How many of you guys get intimidated, nervous, or apprehensive about sharing the product? You can be honest. Okay, good. A lot of us do, right? That's natural. When we think about selling something to somebody, sometimes our paradigm gets a little scrappy, right? Instead of thinking about offering something that's valuable. Like when we ask for something, ask for a favor, ask for permission, ask for something, right? And the other person's kind of in control. But when you offer something to somebody, when you offer something you value to somebody who values, you're different, right? If I invited you over to my house and I have a pizza sitting there and I'm like, hey, you want a slice of pizza? You're either going to say yes or no, right? I don't really care if you say yes or no, do I? Because it's a pizza. More for me. But if for some reason in my brain, if I offer you this product, or I offer you this business, or I offer you cream or whatever, and you say no, all of a sudden I take it personally. Like it's rejection, right? Think about it as a pizza. Some people want it, some people don't. Who cares, right? It doesn't mean it's not a good pizza. It doesn't mean it's not a good product. It means I don't want it right now, okay? So think about this, and I challenge you as you go out and prospect with people to think of yourself as a Girl Scout. Some of you will be others. Okay. Think of yourself as a Girl Scout. In the sense that when you sign up for Girl Scouts, what are you signing up for? Sell cookies. Right? You know, as a Girl Scout, that's a big deal. You gotta sell cookies, and you know, there's everyone's cookies. You sit out in front of the Safeway with your table, right? You got all your cookies there, and everybody that comes by, you gotta ask them what? Would you like to buy some cookies? How many no's do you think they hear? Okay, now picture this. What if you're walking into the grocery store and there's a few people walking in front of you and they walk by the Girl Scout table and the Girl Scout says to the person, wants some Girl Scout cookies? No thank you, honey. Oh, you're so cute. No thank you. Would you like some Girl Scout cookies? No thank you, no thank you. Would you like some Girl Scout cookies? No thank you, no thank you. Would you like some Girl Scout cookies? No thank you, no thank you. And then it's your turn. And it's crickets. They don't ask you. You're like, don't I look like I might want some cookies? You think that I don't put cookies in this temple? You think I can't afford those cookies? What's that? Sister? Right? But what if she just got frustrated? She's like, nobody wants any cookies. I'm going to stop offering. And then you're taking it like, doesn't she think I want or deserve or need or like cookies? But really, she's just like thinking about herself going, I'm tired of hearing no. But Girl Scouts know that that's part of the deal. And when you say no thank you, it doesn't faze them at all, does it? No. Not at all. Would you like some cookies? Would you like some cookies? And maybe they're like, okay, Martha, your turn. Right? But first of all, there's no kissing Martha anymore. Yeah? Little kids? Okay. It's like, Jordan, now it's your turn. Okay. Anyway. That was my own voice. That's who you gotta be. When you're offering the business, when you're offering your product, when you're offering bottles and prospecting, you're a Girl Scout. This is what you signed up to do. Your troop is counting on you to sell as many cookies as you can because you all want to go to Florida for the cookie conference. Let's go with it. You gotta do your part. If people want the cookies, awesome, celebrate. How many do you want? Perfect. Let me box them up for you. Yay, you know. If they don't want any cookies, no big deal. They're still good cookies. There's still plenty of people they're going to buy. Do you ever think that they don't sell out? They always sell out, right? How do I know? Because I try to find them in April, and guess what? They're gone. Okay. So that's the place that you need to be. Is you're offering it to every person every time because you value what you have, and regardless of the outcome, regardless of their response. That's really none of your business. And if you go in it with that paradigm, it's going to be much easier for you to offer it. And it's so funny, when I was in Colorado, I was making that analogy, and it was summertime, and it was hot, and I swear, I came off the stage, and somebody came out, and they gave me a box of Thin Mints. I was like, what? First of all, I love you so much right now. The second of all, where'd you get those? Where'd those come from? And she's like, it's so funny. I ordered some Girl Scout cookies back in March from my girlfriend, and I haven't seen her. I just happened to see her yesterday, and it was still in my car, and they were talking about Girl Scout cookies and how much you love Thin Mints, so here you go. I was like, that is weird. Okay. Awesome. All right. So exposure is everything. If you're not exposing people, you're not bringing new people into your funnel, right? How many of you guys know how many people you're actively working with as prospects right now? Okay, a handful of you. So you should always have like a something, a notebook, a file folder, whatever it is. Right now we're kind of using these file folders. But we have to move people through the exposure process. But what I want you to understand is the first few exposures, like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 exposures, might not even be about Nerium at all. You're building rapport. We're in the relationship business. And I think this is where people get mixed up. Let me see what the next slide is, because I don't know if I'm going to touch that. Okay, yeah, let's talk about it. People get mixed up in the sense that when you first approach somebody about Nerium, they're already at a no. They're already at a no. Your job is to get them to a maybe before you get them to the yes. Okay? Most people, I don't want it, I don't need it, I don't know what it is, I'm not into it. You want to get them to a maybe. And how do you get them to a maybe? Is by getting them to like you. They're more open to hearing what you have to say when they have a little bit of rapport with you. Right? And a lot of times we jump right into the product. I ran into a girl the other day who used to be on my team in another company a long time ago. Lynn Silva, anyway. And she's selling something else now. I haven't talked to her in 12 years, you guys. I ran into her at dinner. She comes up to me with a little sample of her product. And she's like, oh my gosh, you have to try this. It's so amazing. I don't even really know what it is, you guys. I can't remember the name of it, but it's some kind of like super juice. And she's like, you have to try this. Oh my gosh, you would be so good at this. And she answers a little thing. She's like, would you come to a meeting with me in Bellevue on Tuesday? Well, first of all, Bellevue is an hour from me. And second of all, I don't know. Okay? But what I learned from that is she didn't spend any time checking in with me. Like, how's it going? What are you doing? Hey, what do you got going on? What's important to you right now? How are you feeling? Are you already taking the super juice? Whatever. She didn't spend any time getting to know me or asking me any questions about what I might be into. It was all about, you'd be so good at this, try this, spend an hour with me. I drive an hour, spend an hour with me on Tuesday. And I'm so glad that she did that, because what it reminded me of is that's not how I want to recruit somebody. Right? And then I got a message from her on Tuesday, are you going to be able to come? That was it. I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, no. Okay. But do you see what I mean? That's what sometimes we do. We go right into the product or right into whatever we're trying to offer them, that we forget to build a little bit of rapport. What I would have wanted her to do is be like, oh my gosh, how are you doing? How's it going? How's the kids? Man, we haven't been at Wednesday. What are you been up to? Where are you living now? What are you doing? Are you working? So, have you ever heard of this? Or, whatever. Build a little bit of rapport with me before she goes for the jugular. And that's what I want you guys to do too. When you're exposing people, it might take you 15 different touches before they make a decision about even being a customer. Right? But those first 4 should all be rapport. Well, that's catchy. Those first 4 should be rapport. Okay? Make it your habit. This is a tip. This is going to work for you guys. Make it about getting to know someone, giving them a genuine compliment, finding out what they're into, building that bridge. Oh, you have a son that plays soccer? I have a son that plays soccer. Where do you play? Oh, gosh, whatever. Something like that. And then you can introduce in 5 through 8 exposures or touches or whatever. Then you can start talking about Nerium. And then 8 through 12, 8 through 15 is about retouching and guiding them to that decision. right? Those exposures might be a bottle, might be a magazine, might be a video, might be an invite to something, might be a three-way call, whatever. And then they're going to be able to make a decision. If they're already at a no to start with, just focus on getting them to like you enough to take a look. And then keep working it. Does that make sense? Okay. Your warm market and your cold market, you work differently. Your warm market are people that already have a common bridge with you. They're people that you know for some reason, right? Your kids go to school together, they're in your family, whatever. Your cold market are people that maybe you've never met. So somebody you sat next to on the airplane, somebody that you ran into, that helped you out at Victoria's Secret, somebody that was your waitress at the restaurant, okay? And you're going to work those leads a little bit differently, okay? So your warm market, you don't have to build as much rapport with because you already know them, right? Those are the people that you're going to be asking for their feedback because you value their opinion, right? When I look at my list of brand partners, I have way more brand partners that came to me from Facebook than I do my friends and family. How many of you guys are in the same situation? Absolutely. Okay. So you work those, your friends, your sister, you probably like, listen, sister, buy this stuff, right? Sign up. I need $500. Give me your credit card number. Okay. You can do that with your sister. But with your acquaintances on Facebook, people that you slightly knew in high school, whatever, then you work them a little bit, right? How are you? How's things going? How's the kids? Whatever you remember about them, building that bridge. Oh yeah, soccer. Oh yeah, dance or whatever, right? You're working. And then you're going to say something to them really simple, like, you know what? Have you ever heard of Nerium? Or hey, you've probably been following my posts about Nerium, right? Well, I'm building my personal portfolio of before and after pictures. Would you give me your face? Or like what I do, I'm all about EHT these days. I'll say, listen, I'm reaching out to you because I know you're an athlete. I know you're, have a hard time sleeping. I know you're into this, that, or the other, right? For whatever reason, I'm reaching out to you for this. If I give you some EHT to use, would you promise to use it for me for 30 days and give me your written testimonial? When you say it like that, nobody says no. Sometimes brand partners come to say, everybody's saying no. Everybody's saying no. We were talking about today. Everybody's saying no. No, they're not. You're just not asking correctly, right? Because if you ask somebody for their opinion, how many people say, I will not give you my opinion? Nobody. Everybody says, oh, sure, I'll give you my opinion? Of course I'll give it to you. That's your approach. You're not asking. You can't go to the yes before you get to the maybe, right? So make your list of people that you had in contact together, whatever. Build that bridge with them, that commonality, that rapport, and then ask them for their feedback, their testimonial, their opinion. I value your opinion. I know you're in this industry. I'd love for you to use my product for a few days and give me your honest feedback. I value your opinion. I know you're in this industry. You've been selling, in direct marketing for a long time. Would you look at this and give me your honest opinion? I value your opinion. I know you're into this. I know you're an athlete and have a lot of experience with different supplements. Would you use this for me for a few days and give me your honest opinion? And then your friends are going to be like, oh, thank you for thinking of me. Of course I will. Right? Versus, where's your credit card, bro? That's what some of us do in essence. Maybe not in those words, but that's really what we're doing. That's basically what this gal did to me. Where's your credit card? Joseph? Gabe? Girl? Whatever. Okay. All right. Your cold market is, for example, on the plane I was here, I sat next to a guy. He lives in Overland Park, and he was on his way back from China. And before that, he was in Australia. He was a businessman. He was in a week in Australia, then a week in China, and a layover in Seattle. And we chatted the whole trip. And I immediately thought to myself, okay, I've got 2.5 hours to get him to take on some information about PhD, right? But in the middle of our thing, he started talking about how he gets a weekly manicure and a weekly haircut, and I was like, But we built rapport over 2.5 hours. I mean, he asked me what I did. I talked to him for about 30 seconds about what I did, and then I spent the rest of the time finding out what he does. I know all about him. I know all about him. I know all about him, okay? But at the end of it, I was like, hey, you know what? sounds like you're a really busy guy. I know you travel a lot, and one of the benefits of the brain supplement that I mentioned to you is that people are finding themselves sleeping better and, having more energy, things like that. If I gave you some, would you be willing to try it, and I could stay in touch with you and get your feedback? He was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. He was like, well, just give me your website, and I'll go on and order it. And I was like, no, I've got a box here. I'll give you that. If you want the cream, then you can certainly order that. But I really want you to start taking it right away and give me I want your feedback. I want to know what it does for you. Absolutely. Cold market. But I spent 2.5 hours with him getting to know him. Right? What about your waitress? Sometimes when I go out, especially when I go out with other brand partners, we'll be sitting at the table and the waitress will come and they'll hit me, Sarah, recruiter. Right? Some of you interviews, you get the same thing, right? Okay, where's your magic recruiter? Okay? Well, the worst one was when I was literally walking onto the plane and the little girl not the little girl, but the lady that takes your boarding pass and just scans it, you're in front of her for what? A nanosecond? Yeah. The girl behind me is like, hey, recruiter. Like, if that's your recruiting philosophy, you're in trouble, right? You have to build rapport with people first, right? I might have more luck with a flight attendant that I have a little time with, or a waitress. So when you go out to eat, make it your business practice to strike up a conversation with the waitress, right? When she comes to take you in, hey, how long have you worked here? Maybe the next time she comes around, whatever, something. You ask her about her kids. Do you love it here? What's your favorite? Whatever. Just ask her some questions about herself. You will find out what's going on with her. Like, I can't wait for 5 o'clock. I hate my life. Whatever. Or she's like, I love it. This is awesome. She's a great personality. Whatever it is, get to know her a little bit. And then by the time you leave, she likes you. Because you told her she did a great job. You're like, you know what, I've been coming here a long time. You're so far, you're my favorite waitress. I love the way my burger was actually hot by the time you got it. Like, high five. Right? She's like, oh, thank you. You really think I did a good job? Well, that's so nice of you. Then you might say, listen, I'm new to the area, or I'm growing my new business, and I'm looking for people to use my product and give me a testimonial. I think you'd be great for that. If I gave you something to try for a few days, would you use it and give me your feedback? I challenge you to get a no. I challenge you to get a no. But when you just go in for the kill without building that rapport first, and they're already at a no, you've got to get to the Navy first. Does that make sense, you guys? I'm counting on this because it's important. Okay? I don't even care about that. What's that? Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about objections. Get your papers out. This is my favorite training of all time. I've been doing it for 15 years. It changed my business, changed my everything for me. This is totally off script, so don't tell anybody. All right. First of all, when you get objections, you should high-five yourself because that means you're having a legitimate conversation with somebody about your business. Okay? You're going to get objections. You're either going to get them in the beginning or you're going to get them after they sign up and they go MIA on you. Right? So you might as well work through them in the beginning. And what an objection really is it's a psychological smokescreen. Okay? Because people either have bad information or not enough information. For example, when someone says, I don't have time to do this business, is that really the truth? No, they don't know what they're talking about, do they? Just like when someone says, oh, it's a pyramid. They don't know what they're talking about. It's their psychological smokescreen because they have bad information or not enough information. Right? They think, oh, if I want to be successful in a business like this, it's going to have to take 40 hours a week, and I just don't have 40 hours a week. Or I know a girl who knows a girl who knows a girl who got into a business like that, and she didn't make any money. Right? So what we tend to do when someone gives us an objection is we tend to try to solve it for them before we realize or spend the time to find out that that's not really what's holding them back. It was just a smokescreen. Are you guys following me? Okay. So I'm going to teach you a technique to find out if that is really what's going on, if that's really what's holding them back, and to take all those objections off the table. Okay. So the first thing you need to do when you get any objection is validate it. If you don't validate the objection, then you're defensive and you're coming across like you're not hearing them. So what a validation does is it says, I hear you, but I have enough conviction for what I'm offering that I'm going to offer it anyway, right? That's really what you're doing. So think about it like this. If you make a nice dinner for your spouse and they're out, let's say if you're a woman, you make a nice dinner for your husband, he's out golfing. He's supposed to be home at 7 o'clock. And you've got, candles, whatever. I don't even know how to describe this because I would never do that.